Welcome back one final time. Listen, if you were with us earlier, just after the full-time whistle, you would have heard Guillaume Balaguer telling us that it had gotten testy and it had gotten loud in the tunnel post-game after the final whistle between Atletico and Manchester City. And footage has just emerged from the tunnel where you can see what was happening there. We're just going to play it in for you, and the guys can kind of react and let you know what they think of this.
Well, Tiyeri, you've played against Atletico Madrid before and those type of teams. Is this a normal occurrence? Because it always feels to me when you play against Atletico Madrid on the pitch, it always seems to end up in a fight. And does this happen? Is this common?
I never had that issue with Atletico Madrid when I was playing for Barcelona. It never happened. But that game reminds me, I don't know if you guys remember that, Valencia-Inter in the Champions League. I don't know if you remember when Zlatan was running and leaving the field. I don't know if you remember that tie. But no, I never had that issue with Atletico. But as you saw, it was always going to happen, unfortunately, and the Commission is going to have to deal with what we just saw here.
Let's take you out to Guillaume Balaguer, who was in the tunnel over there in Madrid. I guess we're just interested in your reaction to what we're seeing as well, Guillaume, and what it's been like in the mix zone.
It sounded like what we've seen when we spoke earlier. It was first Savic exchanging words with Grealish, and then Brasilico going absolutely mental and throwing things around, I think even spitting. And we're not sure exactly against. It was Walker there involved in the other side. From the City point of view, they will tell you this is Atletico Madrid. From the Atletico point of view, what you hear actually is that, well, there's so many accusations about dark arts, about wasting time, about doing the wrong thing, and then you go and do it as well. So the tension was very obvious from the beginning. The managers controlled it in the preview to the game, but then it all went just crazy. So UEFA will take a note, of course, and will act on what happened on the pitch at the end of the game, and certainly what happened in the tunnel at the end.
Did Atletico players come out and give interviews to the press?
Yes, I spoke to Jano Black, who after the first question, I think if I asked him about his son, he would have said, well, City wasted time, didn't they? Because they had it in them to actually say, you know, there is things that we don't like about what City does, but we the only ones being accused of it. And when I spoke to not just him, but a couple of Atletico Madrid players that passed by as well, nobody was in the tunnel. And nobody really know what happened in that brawl on the pitch. It's normal, but you see the faces, you see who's done it, you see what has happened, and now it's for UEFA to act. The tension was so obvious, as we said earlier, that UEFA decided actually to calm things down and not allow the players to come to us as soon as the game finished. 10 minutes later, they all started coming, and even Pep Guardiola basically said, no comment. That was his comment.
To interview. Thank you very much, Guillaume. Appreciate you. Was City wasting time? Is that fair?
On the opposite, the acts that I've seen, Edison got a touch on his head. Foden got absolutely double tackled by Felipe. So I don't think there was wasting time. I mean, Atletico Madrid.
What's wrong?
No, we all played in Europe. That's what you do at the end of the game. You run down the clock. I don't know why we're over talking about it. And they were great fouls, by the way. They were fouls. But yes, you lose time in Europe in the last minute of a game when you're about to go through, whether you're Man City, whether you're a great team or not a great team. So I don't understand the debate, really, first and foremost.
Are you angry too?
No, I just don't understand the debate of that's what you do. That's what great teams do. That's why you win the Champions League. You bring the ball in the corner, whether you're the best team in the world or not. And they showed that to us today. They never played the goal kick from the ground, sorry. They kicked it long today, having Sterling sometime as a 9. They knew they were never going to win that ball, but they wanted to go through. So whatever it takes.
What do they expect them to do? They'll just be nice all the time. You know,
oh, now you're jumping on the Thierry Henry.
No, but Jamie said before, like, this was a game where you can't always play pretty football. You've got to win a little bit ugly, and that's what they did tonight. And now they're complaining about it. The masters of complaining are now moaning because someone else do what they did for 5 minutes of the game.
I think there's something that we need to understand here, is that everybody have their own style. You don't have to like it, you have to respect it. I respect a lot what Simeone has done. To be able to win 2 titles in between Real Madrid and Barcelona in their prime, both teams, it's outstanding. Being able to go to the final, this is why I think they were clapping today. They're clapping because they are happy about him, they're happy about who they are and what they represent, whether you like it or not. But today, they got outsmart about a team at the end that suffered because Correa could have leveled it, because Stones cleared it at one point, because they were not in the game. And when you're not in the game and you can't play your way, people were always talking about plan B. Well, today for Man City, it was plan B. And they went through.
The manager, that's Simeone. That's his... You talk about great managers, and he is a great manager. Their personalities in their team. So Pep Guardiola's personalities in Manchester City's team. Same with Jurgen Klopp. Diego Simeone is a brilliant manager. He really is. But that's him. That was him as a player. He would stamp on someone on the floor. He would... You know, something to try and gain an advantage. They tried, because they couldn't outfootball Manchester City, to try. It was obvious before the game what was going to happen in this game. They try and keep it tight, and second half they're going to try and make it a fight. They'll try and get a Man City player sent off because they're not good enough to take on Man City. Now, that's not a criticism. In some ways, I admire Simeone saying they're going to play a different way, because I hate seeing teams say, we're going to try and outplay Manchester City. I mean, Sporting Lisbon, I mean, what score was the first? Like 5-0 at home or whatever. So it may have been a great spectacle, the first game. For me, sometimes those games are fascinating. I thought the last 20 minutes of that game was riveting to watch. It really was. And the sort of energy and the intensity in that game, I thought was fascinating. And we can criticise Simeone for his style of play. I wouldn't criticise it. It's just different. But for me, football would be boring if everybody played the same way. That would bore me. It really would. And I just think watching Atletico Madrid, I wouldn't like 5 teams in the Champions League like that. But if there's 1 or 2 teams there, it's a challenge for Manchester City. Manchester City normally beat teams 4 or 5-0 over 2 legs. I think they've had 3 or 4 shots on target in the 2 games. For me, the defending side of it, the aggression, even the needle at the end. Maybe we don't want to see it, it's a poor tackle, but it does add something to the game for me. It's just how does City react? Trying to sort of get a player sent off. It's not what you want to see, but how does City deal with that? What are these dark arts of the game? And it is part of football, whether you like it or not.
Well, Micah, Jamie, we know our semi-finals now, don't we? Manchester City will face Real Madrid. Liverpool against Villarreal.